Is it just that you're missing Wits End tonight? Is
Yeah,
that why
maybe.
you're asking me to do that? Oh, look, we're live.
Hey, hello, peoples. Oh, we're back to first in the chat. People have to claim first.
Oh, what's going on?
Huh. Hey, look.
Hey.
I was just about to play some music and start a podcast.
Well, it's about that time. You should do that.
Okay. Can you dance in the stands?
I can try.
And here we go. Well, guess what? You found us. Thank you for joining us and welcome to Caching in the Northwest. This is the only podcast dedicated to geocaching in the Great Pacific Northwest. We will talk about caches and cachers unique to this little corner of the country. So while you're trying to get the tent set up, we'll be caching in the Northwest. And we can't do that without bringing in our mountaineering monkey. Some say he can swim up waterfalls, and others say he's been carried to a cache by an eagle. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
Hey, thank you very much. And I think we also have skewed our start just a little bit because things are a little different tonight. And I'm noticing Wits End has a slightly larger studio than normal. And
it's a little bigger, yeah. I'm here with, several thousand of my close friends. Down in 6th Land here is a view. Let's see if I can figure out. There you go. This might be for the evening.
All right. So can any of our viewers figure out where Wits End is tonight?
Where could he be?
It shouldn't be all that hard, but I don't have access to the chat room, so you'll have to tell me if anybody's guessed correctly.
Limax wants a nickel. That's all we know from the chat.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
I'm not sure if that's some sort of hint.
There's a scoreboard out there. I don't know if anybody clues out there.
Let's see. We have people currently caching on the Coquihalla while listening to this. Some ballpark. Probably that Seattle place. No, it is not that Seattle place.
No, the Seattle Mariners lost tonight in Kansas City.
So we can tell you this is not Kansas City then.
This is not Kansas City. I've never been to Kansas City.
I don't think you're in Kansas anymore.
We're not in Kansas anymore.
That's right.
Oh, Limex got it right.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Anaheim.
Yes, I'm down in 6th Land. Yep, visiting my sister here. There she is. Say hi.
Hello, sister there.
Hello, sister.
Hello. Sister to one side, my son to the
other.
Hello, son.
Trying not to suck. That's excellent.
Try not to suck.
And who are the 74 people behind you?
Well, I'd introduce you, but you've got caching to talk about.
Okay.
So I'm going to let you guys get to it. And maybe I'll pop in later. Maybe I won't. I'll just let you one.
Ooh. Well, thank you for joining us. And go whatever sports team you're having to be rooting for. I don't know who's playing.
Yeah. Philadelphia Phillies are beating the Angels right now 4-3.
Okay.
There you go.
Enjoy the game.
Temporarily, my sister says. So, and we got to see a Mike Trout homer in the first inning, so it was all good.
Very cool. Home run by a fish.
Yeah. Okay, have a great podcast, guys. Good night.
Okay.
Awesome. Home run by a fish, isn't that called spawning?
Ooh, yes, it is. That's what salmon do, right?
Yeah, every year. All right. Hey, you know what? So that was a lot of fun. Thank you very much, Wits End, for joining us there. And I hope you guys had a little bit of fun trying to guess where the heck he was. Good job, Limax. Well, you know what? Speaking of Limax, we want to thank Limax, Team Squirrel, and WorldCaching.com, our faithful Denali level supporters, as we do off the start of each show. And again, really, we want to thank all of our supporters, all of our sponsors through Patreon, who help to keep quality shows coming with Caching in the Northwest. If you're interested in helping support our show, check out the Patreon link on the cashingnw.com website. Now, guys, for tonight's show, we are going to talk about the day the sun stops shining. That sounds very dramatic.
Doesn't it, though? It sounds like a cheap sci-fi movie.
Yes.
I would watch it, though.
The day the earth stood still.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Before we get
started. Nikto.
Yeah.
That's what you need to know about that whole movie. You can sum it up in 3 words, but go ahead.
Okay. That sounds like hashtag FATAS material to me. All right. Hey, you know what? Before we get started, geocaching.com has spent many an hour updating your profile page for you, whether you want them to or not. And Caching in the Northwest wants to help you do things you want to do to your profile page. So submit a glow, a geocaching log of the week, and you can have a glow badge for your very own profile page.
So whether you wrote it or whether you just read it, we want to hear about it because great logs simply makes geocaching better. Send an email to feedback@cashingnw.com. You can call into 253-693-TFTC or use that handy dandy voicemail tool on the website. We say it every week, and show us how you glow.
Indeed. And you know what? We've got a great glow for tonight. Tonight's glow is authored by Notosaurus. It is a event cache log from the event GC77 Bravo Kilo 0.
Burger King 0.
Burger King 0. And what's the score for McDonald's?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? It's that's the event cache that this is for. The event was called X Marks the Spot, the Golden Cache event. I'm detecting a hashtag Mary Hyde theme here. All right. Well, let's get into it. Notosaurus writes, I be called No Beard. I sail without a crew. I love to plunder villages, though there be mighty few. I haven't got a parrot on board. There is no cat. My food be disappearing. I think I smells a rat. I often sail the 7 seas upon this tiny craft. Any plunder that I take, I throw onto the aft. I've sailed the oceans from here to Timbuktu. Okay, hashtag FATAS about what oceans are in Timbuktu. There I've slayed sea monsters and a dragon, 1 or 2. I often sail alone upon the ocean's swell. It can get rather lonely. There's no one I can tell. If you spy a tiny craft a-sailing on the sea, I welcome any soul aboard, whether swab or lubber be. Bring some grog and share tall tales. I'm not one to be feared. The gangplank's down, come spend some time with me, Captain No Beard. There you go. What a great glow. I love it when
Isn't that a great glow? Yeah.
I love when people put that kind of time into their event cache logs. That's great.
You know, I really enjoy a good poem log, mostly because there's no way on earth I could write one. It's just, that's not in my skill set. So I enjoy it when other people write. So if you find a good poem log, send that over. Email that to feedback@cashingnw.com, and we will put it on. And guess what?
What?
You could earn a very own glow badge. Very own of your very own. I do that a lot. I need to change that verbal tick of mine. You could earn a glow badge of your very own.
Yes, you could.
Yes.
So,
and if there happens to be a milestone cache you're celebrating, why not call that into 253-693-TFTC and share it with the entire Northwest community.
Now, Chris of the Northwest.
Oh, do tell.
When we say milestone cache, does it have to be like this specific number cache that you find, or are we welcoming any kind of geocaching story that people would love to share with us?
Well, we always accept geocaching stories, but we also want to celebrate with you when you hit one of those great milestones. You know, Land Monkey, when you travel out of BC to some new area to celebrate one of your millionth cache finds, we want to celebrate that with you.
Oh, okay. Well, that's very nice of you.
Now, Team Finn happens to say in the chat that number 700 is coming up for them.
Ooh, well, then we are expecting a little audio from Team Finn, aren't we?
You got it. No pressure there, Team Finn. We're going to hold our breath.
All right.
Okay. But we've got some interesting audio for you this week.
Nice.
I'm going to start with something that maybe could replace our theme song.
There is a podcast on the net they call Caching in the Northwest, and it's got information that everybody needs, and we think it's the best.
What do you think? Is
I
that
love
our new theme song?
I enjoy it. I don't know if it'll replace the opening theme song, but you know what? I think it's going to find its way regularly into the podcast.
I think you're right. I think that needs to become a button on my soundboard.
There you go. That was who was that from?
I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, mystery.
Mystery. We're going to leave it out there to see if anybody recognizes it.
Me likey the mystery.
Yeah. Boy, we've got a lot of milestones coming up in the chat.
So we're expecting a lot of audio.
Exactly. We're expecting a lot of audio. Limax is going to hit 2100 sometime soon.
Sweet.
3 Hams is going to hit 5555.
Nice.
Yeah. Team Finn says Streak Day 100 is coming soon.
Awesome.
Dora Moore should get number 3800 tomorrow if I survive the smoke.
Yeah, well, there's that.
Depends on what you're smoking.
38.
No.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. With all that,
Yeah.
we also have a voicemail from Limax. Let's play that.
Good evening, gentlemen. This is LiveX. You are wanting to know about plans for the Mary Hyde events, people's plans. And, well, I kind of got plans. I was able to find an event to attend, which turned out to be troublesome because I forgot which day of the week it was. I almost pulled a Chris on that and showed up 24 hours early on that one. Actually, no, you were a week early, but yeah, it was almost 24 hours early I showed up for that.
Congrats on being a verb.
And so got that, and I was so proud because my daughter signed up for her own geocaching account at that point. Although she signed a couple of logs, she has yet to log anything. And I'm not sure how interested she is in it, but I'm just kind of happy that she decided to go ahead and do that, to do something with her old man. Anyway, last week for the team event where we needed to get 30 points, I wasn't about to ride on the coattails of my team, so I went out and got my 30 points on my own. I did it by finding 3 virtual caches that all had 10 favorite points or more, because of course I can't do anything normally. And it was really kind of funny because later in the week I ended up finding 3 more caches with 10 or more favorite points, Where I Go, and 2 more virtuals with Wino Seattle when he was in town. And then this past week we only needed 10 points, and I really didn't feel like trying to find a cache that needed to get a trackable dropped in it, and I really haven't had much time this week, so I earned my 10 points by getting 2 parking grabs. So there you go. You play the game however you can, whenever you can, and that's how it's done. I try to find new and interesting ways of geocaching that doesn't involve numbers. And there you go. And this week wasn't as good, and we'll have to see with next week's souvenir what happens. So there you go. Have a good night. Bye.
There's no wrong way to play the game. And I think geocaching.com's summer... Oh, are you saying there is, Land Monkey? There is a wrong way to play the game?
Hashtag Patas and hashtag Dear Geocache Guy.
I think geocaching.com's summer emphasis, is always interesting, gets you out and makes you find... No, it doesn't make you. Encourages you to find maybe a different type of cache than you're used to.
Yes, you get a personalized email from Rock Chalk that says, "You go out and find this many caches, or else." Makes you, or he shows up at your door, tapping his foot, his arms crossed.
There's a site you not caching.
There's a site you don't want. Rock Chalk showing up saying, "Why aren't you caching?"
Oh,
Boy, I hope he listens to this podcast.
I bet we can get him to do that. Hey, we got
I
another
would love
voicemail in.
Ooh, even more.
Even more. So we wanted to know about Mary Hyde, but you know what? Land Monkey, you mentioned that maybe you don't call in just your milestones, right?
Right?
Here's one from Fluff Knight.
This is for Turtle's Treasure, GC78GR0, a micro in the woods in a park in Whitlam. I was the first and only to DNF. Sadly, after an hour's search, even with a hint from the cache owner, I could not find it. I looked along the path, then went back to grab my rain boots from my car, which I coincidentally had, and looked along the riverbank. After receiving the reply from Keep 94, I went back to the trail and looked again. Not just down, but up as well. Sadly, nothing caught my eye. I did find a working mechanical pencil, though. Later on, I edited my cache and made it a little longer. Looking back at my text to my friend, I gave up at 3:21, literally missing DJ Cache 2, who was first to find, at 3:25, and Bug Girl, who was second to find, at 3:40. I didn't even leave the park until 4 p.m. after DNFing another cache close to the parking lot.
Oh, that's awesome. Fluff Knight, thank you so much for sending in that. And I just love the sigh at the end. It sums it up. But, first of all, I have to say, kudos to you, Fluff Knight, not only for sending in the audio and doing it in such a great, enjoyable way, but for going after a micro in the woods. I mean, right there, that shows that you're really passionate about this sport to actually want to pursue a micro in the woods.
Well, and she was there clearly in enough time to get an FTF.
Yeah. So good for her. That's awesome. What great feedback.
Yeah. We love all sorts of feedback here. So call into 253-693-TFTC with anything you want to say. Well, maybe not anything. Might open that up. There are wrong ways to call in. I'm just going to say that right now, right?
Yeah.
We haven't experienced them yet, but there are wrong ways to call in.
There you go. Well, you know what? Some people have done some things the right way, and that is the winners of our contests, our June and July contests. Once again, thanks to worldcaching.com.
Exactly. I was going to say, it seems like these contests have run forever.
Yes. Yeah. These ones have been going for a while, and we had some entries. We were really, really happy with the entries we got. And thank you guys for participating in the June and July contests. And so the two prizes, the Canada themed prize goes to Stark Cacher or Star Cacher. I always stumble over that one. I'm not sure where to
break it.
Yeah.
I say Stark Casher. Stark Casher.
All right.
Stark Casher.
Casher, congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Congratulations. Woohoo!
All right. And we don't just have one winner tonight. We've got two winners tonight. And the winner of the Pirate Prize from worldcaching.com is UDAC.
Congratulations. Guys, send me in your physical mailing address, and I will get those out to World Caching, and they will get their prizes out to you. You know how that works.
Congratulations. All right. So,
and we're not done because it's August now.
It is.
And we're going to have an August giveaway. This is an ape cache themed giveaway.
So, okay, hold on a second. Don't we have problems with the ape cache being given away in the past?
Oh, that was part of the problem, wasn't it?
Yeah.
This is themed. This isn't the actual ape cache being given away.
Oh, okay.
It's themed that way.
All right.
So I want you guys to call in. Call in with a caching story. It could be a DNF. In fact, you know what? If you call in with a DNF, I'll give you 3 entries.
Ooh.
How about that?
All right.
You call in, I'll give you 2 entries. You call in with a caching story. You email me, I'll give you 1 entry. Call in with a DNF and I'll give you 3.
What happens if somebody calls in with an original poem about geocaching?
An original. I'll give you 3 points. I like poems.
All right. There you go.
You know, it's like whose line is it anyway? The points are made up, and the score doesn't matter.
Except it does here.
Except it really does. You get a number of entries, and it really does change the way the algorithm works.
Caching in the Northwest, where the points are made up and the score does matter.
That's right. Limax says we've done some of his DNFs in the Glow queue. So
Yes,
there you go.
we have.
Oh, geocaching limericks.
That counts as a poem,
Brightling wants to know. Yes, it does.
as long as it's original and
clean.
family friendly.
Okay. In all seriousness, our thoughts and prayers are with those who have been affected by these fires. It seems throughout the entire North American continent, at least the North American West. So just know that our thoughts and prayers are with you. If there's anything we can do, you need to let us know, and we'll do our best to help you.
Absolutely, especially if there's any messages that need to be passed along to the public about closures or support for geocaching organizations or support for communities that we can pass the message along through the podcast. Please just contact us and let us know. We'll make sure we do that in the upcoming episodes.
There was some interesting news posted this week. Freeze Tag and Munzie announcing a merger. So Freeze Tag is the leading creator of mobile social games, and Munzie is the ultimate experience in location-based gaming. They announced that their boards of directors unanimously approved the signing of the definitive agreement to merge Freeze Tag and Munzie in an all-stock transaction.
Wow.
So the main reason behind the merger is the old saying, 2 heads are better than 1. Both companies have done quite a bit of work together, and both believe we are stronger together than separate. So, interesting idea. So I don't know. I've only experienced one Freeze Tag game, and that's Garfield Go. And Munzie pushed that about a month ago or more. So.
Oh, okay. So Freeze Tag isn't a particular app. Freeze Tag is a company that makes apps.
Right.
And they're like the augmented reality stuff. Is that what they're into?
Exactly.
Well,
right.
That could be an interesting partnership then.
It could be. This is the future of the game of Munzie is so bright. We continue to focus on Wallaby and Event Z as well. We also look forward to working on AR components and additional location-based advertising. All these things fall in line with the direction we've been moving on our own, but we expect to accelerate the pace with our upcoming merged family.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, you know what, folks? Also some interesting information. Those who are already signed up for the Going Ape event may have gotten an email from the Washington State Geocaching Association, but in case you haven't heard, there is an informally organized hike to the cache that shall not be named, starting at 6:30 a.m. on August 19th, and that'll be just prior to the Going Ape event. For anybody who's new to the podcast, I am Chris. Don't stop the podcast. I am going to say the name of the cache just so that anybody who actually wants to know the information about this can find out at GCD. So if you are interested in finding the oldest active cache in Washington State, which is quite proximate to where the Going Ape event is held, the meetup will be at 6:30 August 19th. I think there's information on the Going Ape website or a link to that. Yes, no?
I don't recall. I saw a post there. There may be some geocaching.com forum posts on it that link to it. But this is also what they did last year. Head on over to the Ape event and take a look there.
Sweet. Okay. And I'm just noticing Stark Casher has said it is Star Casher when spoken and Stark Asher if split on a small log. That's brilliant. Okay, so Star Casher. I will try and remember that, and I promise that I will probably forget it.
Yeah.
And just murder it anyways, because that's the way I roll. All right. Please do not take it personally. It is not personal. It is just
what monkeys do.
That's right.
You have 1,000 monkeys pronouncing a name. One of them's going to get it right.
That's right. All right.
Isn't that what they say?
What else is going on, my friend?
Hey, our friend PTLD 2016 has taken on upon herself to let us know when upcoming events are happening in Oregon.
Nice.
So we have an inside source.
Ooh.
And we want to tell you about the 2017 Albany Challenge. This is GC 76 Hotel 8 Delta. For the past 6 years, Albany has hosted 3 geocaching events in conjunction with the Hot Air Balloon Festival. This year, we're starting something new. The weekend and the local events are the same. Our sponsor is the same, but the geocaching events have new names. Welcome to our 7th year of working with the Albany Visitors Association to bring you the annual Coin Challenge event. Our new name this year is the 2017 Albany Challenge 7. So this year's event will be happening Saturday, August 26th, beginning at 10 a.m. at the Allen Brothers Warehouse. Please note this is a one-day event. They've ordered 175 coins again this year. Wow. This sounds like it might be interesting. If you don't know Albany well, a highlight for many each year has been a visit to the Albany Carousel. Since our event last year, the new carousel building has been completed and should be open and running for all those in attendance. Be sure to bring the kids and grandkids along this year. You going to bring your grandkids, Land Monkey?
Boy, I hope not.
Finally, for those who are planning to be in the area for, guess what, the solar eclipse, be sure to stick around and participate in these annual geocaching events. There is also the 2017 Albany Pre-Challenge Meet and Greet on Friday. That is GC 76 Hotel 86.
Very cool. So this is...
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Subway Mark says the Albany event is a great event. I'll be loading cords into folks' GPSR on site.
Very nice. So again, because we're caching in the Northwest, this is Albany, Oregon, not Albany, New York.
Yes.
And yeah, so if you, so they will be, I don't know if they're directly on the path of the solar eclipse, but they're awfully close.
They're right in there. Yeah.
Yeah. And this event is the weekend after the eclipse, but we'll get into more details about the eclipse shortly. Very cool. I don't think I'm going to be able to time getting there for that event, but that would be really cool if I was able to.
The camps of the Camp Clan or IHAM and Die Monkey says they enjoyed the Albany event last year.
Nice.
And Subway Mark says, yes, they are on the southern edge of the totality.
Nice. Very cool.
So, if you didn't know, we had a very pleasant hike to Monte Cristo last Saturday.
Why, yes, we did.
We might talk about that in an upcoming show. Very nice, great crew, wonderful day. I'll be posting more pictures throughout the week. I didn't want to put them all up at once. I want to spread them out and increase the joy.
That was a lot of fun. I thank you very much, sir, for organizing that. We had a blast. It was so fun for us to put some faces to names and meet a whole bunch of new to us geocachers that we'd never met before. And we ended up having the opportunity to chat with a number of people along the trail. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had people ask, hey, can you coordinate another trip like this, about this long, about this much elevation gain? Like, yeah, we can come back here next week. But no, that's not what they meant. So, I'll look in to see what we can do. I have to admit this one was a little bit selfish, especially for you, Land Monkey. You needed this, didn't you, for a Jasmer?
There was a couple of people on the hike who needed it for their Jasmer, but definitely the monkeys. We were planning to go to Monte Cristo this year regardless, but once the idea got pitched about doing it as a caching NW hike and inviting listeners and others in the area, the greater Northwest area, to come along and join us for the hike, it was even better. It's like, you know what? Then we'll just go whenever this lines up. Originally, we were supposed to go in May. Weather did not cooperate this year, so we rescheduled to the end of July. Weather was amazing. Everybody brought enough water and food and had a great time, and fortunately enough first aid supplies as well.
Mhm.
So it was an
That's right.
eventful hike, I'll tell you that much.
It was a hike I'll remember. It's funny. I didn't get the farthest cache, the waterfall cache at the end of that trail last time I hiked, and it was over 5 years ago. I assume it was there, and I didn't go far. I can't remember why, but I was able to correct that this time. And when you see a trail of smileys and one not found, like I got to get it. It's just not right.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic. Well, that was a great event, a great time. Thank you to everybody who's listening to this podcast who came along with us. We really enjoyed spending some time with you guys, and look forward to future opportunities to hang out with you guys. All right. One last news story that I have. It is not necessarily geocaching related, although it could be. I claim beer drinkers time to rejoice. Tomorrow, Friday, August 4th, is hashtag International Beer Day. Now, and I can't think of a better combination than beer and geocaching. I mean, you can file that under what could go wrong, but
I didn't remember you took any on the Monte Cristo hike.
no, interesting. I didn't take any, but at the end of the hike, I was actually gifted a beer by Wino Seattle.
Oh, interesting.
And I have to say, I did not drink it at the time. I made sure that I got it home, got it nicely chilled first. Didn't have any problems bringing it across the border, and it was an IPA from Oregon that I had been told by Wino Seattle, this is like one of the best IPAs you'll ever. And I have to give them full kudos. That was a wonderful IPA. If you had told me that was an IPA, or no, if you had not told me it was an IPA and I had drank in it, and then told me it was an IPA, I probably wouldn't have believed you if I didn't see that it was labeled as an IPA and check the IBU on it and everything. It was really good. So we'll talk about that more, maybe hashtag Fatas or another time. But anyways, just for funsies, hashtag International Beer Day tomorrow.
Love
Enjoy
it.
a beer.
I love it. Hey, in the chat, Team Finn says they're going to go early to get that cache that shall not be named. Get back and then get back in time to volunteer at the Ape event.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah,
Good job.
that'll be fun. So by this time, most people have heard something about the total solar eclipse crossing Oregon and the rest of the continental United States, but we don't care after it leaves Oregon this summer.
We care about Idaho.
Okay, that's true. That's right. We do care about Idaho. And then, doesn't matter.
Whatever.
But for many, two simple questions linger. Where can I see it? And when is it happening? So it's still a couple of weeks away, but you might want to take this opportunity to block out the date and figure out the other big question. How are you going to navigate through the traffic and crowds to see it? Now, the total solar eclipse is happening August 21st this year, 2017. So just a couple of weeks away.
That's a Monday.
And it's widely called the Great American Eclipse because it will be so accessible to so many millions of Americans. The total solar eclipse is easily the most spectacular sight in nature when the sky suddenly darkens and the most beautiful object in the sky, the sun's shimmering corona, becomes visible for 2 minutes or so. To see a total solar eclipse is an immensely emotional experience and a memory for a lifetime.
Yes, absolutely. I love the fact that once again, America has claimed the sun for themselves.
Yeah. No, we're claiming the shadow.
Oh, you're claiming the shadow of the sun.
Shadow. Yeah, we're actually claiming the moon. It's the moon is eclipsing the sun.
Oh, you'd already claimed the moon. So yeah, all right.
Oh yeah. Oh,
All right. Well, enjoy. But
hey, if the eclipse were going across the Canadian countryside, you would have claimed it.
Probably not.
That's true. You guys aren't that way, are you?
No, we probably would have said, "Hey, everybody's welcome to come and check out this cool eclipse." No, you know what? I have to say that a lot of great websites are promoting a lot of good tips about viewing the eclipse. The one that I spent the most time doing my research on was actually NASA. So there you go. Yay, America! Good job. But the NASA website actually has some really, really good content that's very accessible and understandable about the science behind the eclipse, and viewing tips. So we'll get into a whole bunch of that through this podcast as we go from, and this information is taken from a variety of different research sources that Chris in the Northwest and myself have found. But yeah, I see Subway Mark saying Salem is predicting 250 to 500,000 people coming into Salem for the solar eclipse. Their metro area has a population of about 220,000, so they're going to more than double, possibly triple the population of Salem, Oregon, for this. And I noticed that myself, and a lot of I'm going to be on the road during the time of the solar eclipse, and a lot of the towns where I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll just pop into this town, during the time, because it's right along the totality. Small towns, a little bit of web research, and I found out like every small town in the U.S. across the totality is completely booked out for the weekend preceding the eclipse and the day of the eclipse. And it's going to be crazy. So plan ahead. We'll get into some more advice here. So that said, there's good reasons to expect there's going to be large numbers of people. I mean, who wouldn't want to visit the path of totality on eclipse day? Like, that's pretty awesome. So the path itself, it's going to cut a diagonal path across, and it is going across the U.S. It's not crossing the Canadian border, but it's going to cut across.
The border guards wouldn't let it.
Yeah. It's because it had restricted weapons, from Oregon through to South Carolina. So that's kind of the path, if you can picture that, of the totality. That means even if you aren't in the path of totality, you will still observe the eclipse, but you won't get that awesome, cool visual of just the corona for about 2 minutes. And I'm not talking hashtag International Beer Day. That you can get anywhere. All right. So the U.S., as we said, they've got a really great highway system, and that means it's going to be very accessible. Any of these cities and towns along the path of totality. And again, just in case you're not sure what the heck we're talking about, when we say totality, we mean the areas where you can be. The path of totality is the areas you can physically be, where you'll look and see the complete corona effect of the moon completely blocking the sun. All right, and I'm doing a lot of hand images in front of my face and between my face and the camera, just for those who are listening to the podcast.
Just so those listening later.
Yeah, just add that in a little bit. What else can we tell you? This is going to be the first total solar eclipse touching the continental U.S. since 1979. Wow, that's pretty amazing. It's going to take place. It's going to touch the Oregon coast between Lincoln City and Newport around 10:15 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Before it gets to Oregon, the shadow of the moon, the umbra, will not actually be touching any other landmass or island. So I guess, fair enough that this is being called the Great American Eclipse. I can see why you guys are saying that. All right, I'll lay off a little bit. But yeah, that's going to be amazing. And I'm really happy that for our own vacation planning, we had already planned to be on the road heading in that general direction before we were even thinking about the fact that this is lining up with the solar eclipse. So we're really lucky. All right. So it's Monday, August 21st. The timing is going to depend where you're viewing it. Again, I would encourage you to go check out that NASA website. So that's eclipse2017.nasa.gov. They actually have a section on eclipse maps where they'll show you the path of totality and the timing for it, which is really, really helpful. But it's going to start shortly after 9 a.m. in Oregon. Totality is going to be reached between 10:15 and 10:25. All right. Chris, what else can we share with people?
Well, the solar eclipse is going to cross the entire continent, but it first makes landfall right in Oregon. So everyone in the state will at least see a 90% eclipse. If you want to experience this event in the fullness, you want to be in what's called the path of totality. It's a band about 60 miles wide that will cross cities like Lincoln City, Salem, Madras, Baker City. For example, Tacoma is rated to have a 96.3% eclipse. Not quite totality, but close.
How does that compare with the crime rate?
It's about the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Now, I found this stat, and I'm not sure how it fits with the others. This is 99 years before 2017. Oregon was visited by another total solar eclipse with a broadly similar path from the Pacific to the Atlantic. The U.S. Naval Observatory mounted an eclipse expedition to Baker City, and this location will be revisited by the 2017 eclipse. So,
Very cool.
Where you go to see it might also depend on how much you're willing to fight crowds. State officials expect about 1 million people to come to Oregon for the event, and they anticipate unprecedented crowding on public lands and highways around the path of totality. So I might sound reasonable to hop in the car and head down for the morning. You might get stuck in traffic seeing the partial eclipse from your car. Oregon will be one of the most popular states to view the eclipse, while the rest of the United States offers a longer duration of totality. Sections of the eclipse path in Oregon offers the best weather prospects anywhere along the entire path. So major viewing parties are already organized in Oregon. The Oregon Museum of Science and Industry, OMSI, has announced a viewing party at the State Fairgrounds in Salem. Another event is Oregon Solar Fest being held in Madras, Oregon. I think I'm saying that right?
Sounds good to me.
Madras. The Willamette Valley also offers a good chance of sunshine on eclipse day, and even better forecast for sunshine in the Deschutes River Valley in the vicinity of Madras. Although the view of the eclipse from a beach would be spectacular, they're saying avoid the Oregon coast and its summer marine layer unless the short-term weather forecast confidently predicts the absence of morning fogs or low clouds. Madras is what Subway Mark is saying. Okay, thank you. So avoid the beaches. I mean, if you're going to spend this time and go out there, it would be really terrible to have the eclipse happen and you're under a cloud layer.
That would suck.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I was just trying to paste something into the chat.
No problem. So the eclipse is going to reach the Oregon coast at about 10:15 Pacific Daylight Time and exit the state at 10:27. When you think about that, you've got less than 15 minutes.
That's pretty fast, but I guess the sun does tend to move pretty quickly.
No, we tend to move pretty quickly, and so does the moon.
Fair enough. Yes. Okay. Perception is the sun is moving, but you're right. It is our planet and the moon both moving.
So the totality, meaning the moon directly in front. The Earth directly in between the sun and the. Wait, what am I thinking?
What you're saying?
Yeah.
Take a
breath. The totality is about 2 minutes and 10 seconds long.
There you go.
So, interestingly enough, when the eclipse first touches Oregon, the moon's shadow is racing at approximately 3,400 miles per hour.
Wow.
When it leaves Oregon, because of the Oregon State Police, it's slowed down to 2,900. Because it's now higher in the sky.
There you go. So yeah, the width of the eclipse path in the Willamette Valley is apparently 87 miles. That's a pretty good range. Mm-hmm. I would also say that and we'll continue talking a little bit about Oregon and what's going on in Oregon, but definitely the state of Idaho, just immediately south of the Panhandle in Idaho, is going to be in the path of totality as well. Possibly, it looks like it's very close to Twin Falls in that area as well. So very exciting. And, so there's some other great areas to be watching totality through.
Subway Mark says, Powerland Heritage Park is a NASA viewing spot in Brooks, Oregon. I'm a bit selfish on this one since I'm going to be running the website for the event.
Nice. Well, thank you very much, Subway Mark, for sharing that. That's awesome. Some other stories we have here is that strong climbers would be able to see an amazing sight from the top of Mount Jefferson at 10,479 foot elevation. So that's pretty high up. Not only would you see the totality, but you'd also see the stupendous light show of the moon's shadow racing across the landscape. That would be so cool.
Wouldn't that be awesome to see?
That would be amazing. But you would definitely have to be preparing in advance. And I'm sure any good viewing spots on Mount Jefferson are going to be quite packed.
Yeah. But yeah, you'd be able to see the shadow coming at you and then leaving again.
That would be so.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I'm hoping to see some really, really great video of this event afterwards. Yeah, gosh, what else do we got going on here? Talking about that. The risk of taking that tactic is that you can't evade clouds that might develop, and you'd be wise to carefully study the weather forecast before determining that that's what you're going to do to watch it. Accommodations. We talked a little bit about this before, but if you haven't made accommodations for somewhere along the path of totality, you are probably, as the monkey likes to say, hosed, but that doesn't mean stop trying. There may still be options. Many hotels in the Willamette Valley, for example, within the Eclipse path are already sold out. But, given that superior highway system in the United States, I'm not sure what it's being claimed to be superior to, but given that great highway system in the United States, a visitor can stay in Portland or Eugene, and you get an early enough start in the morning, you can reach an optimal location to view the eclipse by mid-morning. A strategy that should work well for interior parts of Oregon, such as the Deschutes River Valley, is to camp or bring a trailer or an RV.
That's right. Subway Mark says the PCT, the Pacific Coast Trail, is currently closed at Mount Jefferson due to wildfires. So,
okay, so that suggestion that we had read about Mount Jefferson is off the table.
That's right.
All right.
So now you're going to need an airplane or a helicopter, or possibly a hot air balloon.
Ooh, hot air balloon.
Hot air balloon would be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be so cool. All right. And of course, as we said, the traffic anywhere along the path of totality, obviously in the Willamette Valley and Madras and anywhere else that, in Idaho, Oregon, etc., as you move across, traffic's going to be a complete nut job. So we would suggest
a monkey thing?
That's a monkey thing. We would suggest and recommend that you plan lots of working time around it, because the last thing you want to do is be stuck in a traffic jam as the solar eclipse passes you by and go, that was great.
That was it. Yeah.
You want to enjoy it.
People are saying that, being on the road at the moment of the solar eclipse could be actually very dangerous, as people are quickly pulling off trying to get a view of it. So,
Right.
there are things to do. Bryling mentions that you can't see the sky above you in a hot air balloon. So Team Finn says maybe skydive.
There you go.
You can Bryling says skydive on your back so you can look up at the sky.
Yes. Well, if you skydive from a high enough elevation, you should have enough time.
Yeah.
We're full of good advice tonight.
Okay. So we've told you what it is, where you're going to see it. Now, the only safe way to look directly at the uneclipsed or partially eclipsed sun is through a special purpose solar filter, such as eclipse glasses. You're going to see those everywhere. Or handheld solar viewers. Homemade filters or ordinary sunglasses, even very dark ones, are not safe for looking directly at the sun. They transmit thousands of times too much sunlight. Do not look at the sun through a camera, a telescope, binoculars, or any other optical device while using your eclipse glasses or handheld solar viewer. Concentrated solar rays could damage the filter and enter your eyes, causing serious injury. What do you have there, Mr. Monkey?
What I have is welding goggles. There is a certain, I can't find the rating on these, but there's a certain rating on welding goggles.
A certain ISO, yes.
Yeah,
an ISO rating.
That is acceptable for viewing solar eclipse. So, thank you, guys.
Bryling is funny. Just look at the sun through the forest fire smoke.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Been doing that all week. All right.
Um,
Go on.
Outside the path of totality. Now, once the eclipse is in totality, you can view it with the naked eye. Once, if you're outside the path of totality, you must always use these safe solar filters to view the sun directly. One good way, you're going to do the rest of the podcast like that?
This is really difficult to do the podcast with these
Turn
on.
up the brightness on the monitor. You'll be fine. You know, to the brightness of the sun.
I'm not sure where that setting is. Okay, keep talking. I'm going to look for that setting in Windows.
Okay. One nice way to watch the eclipse is through pinhole projection. Wow, I'm having trouble. Let me slow down. Pinhole projection is a convenient method for safe viewing of the partially eclipsed sun through its pinhole projection. You simply pass sunlight through a small opening, say, example, a hole punched in an index card, and project the image of the sun onto a nearby surface. You don't need any special equipment to do this. Just cross the outstretched fingers of a hand, into a web like this, a mesh. And the little spaces between your fingers will project a grid of small images on the ground. During the partial phases of the solar eclipse, these images will reveal the sun's crescent shape as shown in the accompanying photo, which you don't see. Sorry, I didn't edit that part out.
Nice cold reading.
If your observing site has trees, I thought this was interesting. Look at the shadows on the leaves on the ground. During the solar eclipse, the tiny spaces between the leaves will act as pinhole projectors, dabbling the ground with images of the crescent sun.
That'd be a neat photo.
Yeah. I remember in 99, 2000, I was in France and there was a solar eclipse and we weren't in the totality, but it got quite dark. And using pinhole projection was a great way to do it. You put your back to the sun, hold out your object and looked, and it worked really well. So use pinhole projection. Don't look at the sun.
Sounds like great advice. Well, one of the other things that people are going to want to do, I'm going to want to do it, so I've been researching this, is taking photos or video of the solar eclipse, of the events going on. Now, very important, normal UV or other related filters, standard camera lens filters, will not work before or after totality and likely will result in damage to your camera. You need an actual solar filter. So Amazon and other sources have filters that you can still buy in time, hopefully, obviously before you make the purchase. Double check what the delivery time is going to be. But you can still buy a solar filter that is suitable for your camera. So if you're using a digital SLR, there are or a camera that can mount to a telescope, there definitely are options for getting solar filters, specifically for eclipse photography. Now, be aware that GoPros and normal point and shoot cameras, they're going to result in interesting, but perhaps not astounding photos. You need a camera that's going to have a serious telephoto lens and a very good tripod to maximize your photography or video experience of the solar eclipse. You think about it, if you've got a point and shoot camera or a GoPro or whatever, and you try and take video or a photo of the moon, it always ends up looking like a pinprick on your photo, right? You're like, oh, it looks so much bigger to my eyes. So things to keep in mind, right? If you have a telescope mounted camera or a telescope and a camera that will mount to it, that's a good option, but you do need to be careful about what type of telescope you use. I'm not a telescope guy, so I did a little bit of reading about this, but I wasn't really following what they were talking about. And there's something specific about reflection versus refraction telescopes. So let me just state that if you're planning to use a telescope to photograph or view the solar eclipse, and you've already planned, you've got a solar filter for the end and all that, that's great. but make sure you have the correct type. So do a little bit of research. I would check that NASA site that I was telling you about, or even just Google, um, photos of solar eclipse or whatever. Make sure you're using the right type. And one of the things that I read that I thought was really interesting is if you're doing that, all of the fittings that the optics connect through on your telescope, none of them can be plastic. You need to be using a telescope that has metal and glass only for all the fittings, because I guess with the intensity, it heats up. So I wouldn't have thought of that, but there you go. Yeah. Good advice.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of concentrated sunlight coming through. And, you just make sure your equipment is rated for taking eclipse photos. Otherwise, you could damage your equipment.
Yeah. Liamex says at his Take Your Child to Work day, there was someone who had a telescope to look at sunspots on the sun. He says he believes that's the same telescope that person will be taking to view the eclipse. And yes, so they would be using a correct type of equipment with the solar filter and everything. That would be the same type of equipment that you would need to properly observe the solar eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, being geocachers, we're also interested if there's geocaching events along the path of totality to enjoy the experience with fellow geocachers. And now last week, we spent a fair bit of time telling you guys about some of the tips and tricks and tools in Project-GC. Well, let me follow that up with telling you about another piece of Project GC that's really handy, the coming events function. Now you find that when you log into Project GC, it's under Tools, Map-Based. It's called Coming Events. What you do is you set the country, your state or province, and then if needed, a county to narrow your search down. Then you add a filter. The filter you add is the from to hidden date, because the hidden date for an event is the date that the event actually will take place on. So set that for Monday, August 21st, 2017, and you'll be presented with a map and a list of all the solar eclipse events in the area that you've selected. So yay, Project GC.
Go, Project GC, go. Yeah, Project GC is so cool.
It is.
So there you go. We encourage you to go out and view the eclipse. We're in the Northwest. It's coming right through our area.
It is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And even, you know what? Oh,
maybe
sorry.
avoid Salem. Just saying.
Well, I was going to say, you know what? Even if, so obviously ideal if you can make it into the path of totality, that's going to be a once in a lifetime experience for sure. But even if you can't make it into the path of totality, still make sure you reserve some time. Take a look at those maps from NASA, because they show more than just the path of totality. They show you where the eclipse, the path it's going to take, and you get a sense of, okay, if I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia, and I want to observe as much of the solar eclipse as I'm going to be able to from 49 degrees north latitude, and so I'm not going to have that same experience as you'd have in Salem, Oregon, but I'll still be able to see something. Check the maps and see what time on Monday you need to take a coffee break, go outside, follow these instructions, because even if you're not in the path of totality, still follow these viewing instructions we've given you, because you can still damage your eyes or your camera equipment. But yeah, enjoy it. Check it out. Make sure you make the most of this experience.
Yeah, and take precautions. I mean, if you damage camera equipment, you can replace that. You can't replace your eyes. So I would say use common sense, but I found common sense not to be all that common.
There you go. All right. So this has been fun. Thank you very much for the research that you've done on this, Chris of the Northwest.
You're very welcome. I know Wits End and I are going to hit the road and see if we can see it.
Awesome. Well, and like I said, Mrs. Land Monkey and I will be on the road during the totality, and very close to the path of totality. So we're actually trying to figure out how can we be somewhere where we'll have a great view and not inundated with mass crowds of hysteria.
I don't know if there is such a place.
There may be. We'll see.
Maybe not mass crowds, but they're estimating any public lands, any side of the road is going to be pretty well populated when this eclipse comes through.
No doubt, no doubt.
And you've got 13 minutes to get to see it throughout the state of Oregon. Maybe you can race it.
That would be fun.
It's going to slow down 500 miles an hour over the width of Oregon there.
Yes. Always good advice on our show. All right. Well,
Well, I don't know about good. It's advice.
speaking of advice on our show, let's talk about what shows are coming up over the next few weeks. So, next week, August 10th, is episode 211, and we're going to be talking about creating a puzzle series. And we've got a special guest joining us. That'll be Skookum Bear, our favorite reviewer, joining us to talk about golf clap for Skookum Bear. Joining us to talk about creating a puzzle series. So, that's going to be a lot of fun. August 17th, we are going to be having an episode we call Going Ape Last Call, and we'll be giving all the last minute advice right before everybody heads out to the Going Ape event. We'll be talking about what our plans for the hosts of this show are. If you want to try and meet up with us at the event or around the time of the event. So, yeah, looking forward to that episode.
Definitely. The Going Ape event this year is the NorthWest event to go to. Bar
We're
none.
very excited about that.
We are very excited about it. So August 24th, we're going to recap the Going Ape event for those of you that couldn't make it. And then we're still working on a show, working out some guests for the 31st. September 7th is a roundup of summer 2017 hashtag geocache road trips.
That'll be fun. I think we'll all have some great stories to share. And you know what? I would encourage any of you listeners who, between now and what now is whenever you happen to be hearing this podcast, and September 7th, send us in some audio of your summer 2017 hashtag geocache road trip. Tell us about something interesting that happened to you on your hashtag geocache road trip. Somewhere you went, somewhere, anything. An
right.
interesting cache you found, your solar eclipse viewing experience, whatever it happens to be. We want to hear from you guys, and we want to be able to play your audio September 7th when we talk about everybody's hashtag geocache road trip roundup.
That's right. And, go ahead and call into 253-693-TFTC or email feedback@cachingnw.com with your hashtag geocache road trip story, and that will count for your August entry into our contest.
There you go.
There you go. You can get a 2-for-1. Hey, Land Monkey.
Yeah.
Where can people find you on this big wide interweb if they want to track you down and say, I would like to spend some time with Land Monkey? Where do you think he would be?
Well, I would suggest follow the path of totality of the solar eclipse. All right. But if that's going to be too difficult, with 4 billion of my closest friends along the same path,
and it's moving 3,000 miles an hour, but okay,
might be a bit of a challenge. But you know what? Hey, you can always find us at landmonkey.blogspot.ca. That's our website. But the most often updated area of the internet where you will be able to follow us. We encourage you to follow us Twitter and Instagram and even Periscope at LandMonkeyGC. Check us out there. And of course, on YouTube, you can check out our channel. It's Land Monkey. Just search Land Monkey on YouTube and you will definitely find us.
Linex is looking for more Land Monkey geocaching adventures.
There will be more coming soon. Don't worry. Mr. of the Northwest.
Yes. Wow. You head over to those of the Northwest sites like Twitter at CachingNW, Facebook, CachingNW, Google Plus, CachingNW. Who knew? But you know what? Better yet, head on over to CachingNW.com/hosts and read our bios and find out all the links that we just mentioned and a few of those secret ones that we don't tell anybody on air.
Ooh, secret ones.
Yeah, now people want to go there, don't they?
Yeah. All right. Well, listeners, once again, we want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Remember that you can be part of the show. You've heard it before and you're going to hear it again. Call 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask a question, or mail us a key to the TARDIS any time of the day or night. Of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. And remember that your support helps to keep quality shows coming, whether the sun is out or Hidden Behind the Moon. If you like this show, please click the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website. Remember that this show is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2017 by Chris Umfenauer. All right, folks, now it's time to stay tuned for
The after show.
It's like he's still here.
Oh, awesome. That was fun. Hey, it's the after show.
Hey, there was something I wanted to mention.
What's that?
You know, Starcasher,
Mm-hmm.
winner of the Canadian themed prize,
Okay.
says I'm planning to try to drive to an area about 400 miles to see the eclipse.
Ooh.
If I miss it for whatever reason, another total eclipse will be in April 2024, and Toledo, Ohio, will be in the totality path.
Oh, well, then that one means that one would be crossing across a good portion of Canada.
Exactly.
It's not much further north.
It'll probably be the Great Canadian Eclipse.
Well, it's going to be now. Since
Yeah.
you guys get this one, we get 2024. The Great Canadian and Toledo Eclipse.
Okay. Yeah. I
Canadian
grew up around Toledo, so I could go back home for that. Well, there's no home there, but I could go back to wherever I used to live and knock on the door and say, "Hey, can I stay here for the eclipse?"
You can never go home again.
Yeah.
Not when the house isn't there, anyways.
Okay.
What?
Oh, I'm looking at Team Finn says, "Where did the mustache go?" Like, what? I still have my used to. Oh, he means Wits End.
Where's the wits?
Yeah, Wits End is traveling this week, so
Yes.
Saturday night in Toledo, Ohio is like being nowhere at all. They roll up the sidewalks precisely at 10, and people who live there are not seen again. I could go on.
Hey, hashtag Fatas from Brylang said there are no oceans in Timbuktu. So, just per my my earlier comment when I was reading the glow.
What about a very large lake?
Well, I'm sure there's lakes, but I don't think any of them are ocean caliber or seas.
I spent time in Africa, and I was not all that far from Timbuktu. It was within a day drive, and I didn't go.
Huh.
But
There you go.
there was a lot more than I just didn't go. Travel there is not easy.
I can imagine it wouldn't be.
But it would have been fun to say, yes, I've been to Timbuktu.
It would be. It's one of those ones you could always just have in the back pocket to pull out when somebody makes a cheeky remark.
Timbuktu. Oh, yeah, I've been there. No
Next.
oceans. Team Finn says, come to our next event, our monthly series. August will be National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. Tomorrow, August 4th at 6 p.m. That's GC 7964 Foxtrot.
So sorry, that's tomorrow, August 4th?
Yes, apparently it is.
So National
Chocolate Chip Cookie Day.
The U.S.'s National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day coincides with the International Beer Day. So therefore, what you want is a chocolate porter.
Okay. Does that go best with the chocolate chip cookie?
Well, it's a chocolate flavored dark beer. I mean, that seems to me that's what you want to have to make the most out of the day.
There you go.
Right. Hashtag Fatas from IHAM says, back to our comment about whether there's right or wrong ways to play the game of geocaching. He says, yes, there are wrong ways to play. Exhibit A, throwdowns. Nice. What else have we got? I'm just scrolling through the chat here, folks, trying to look for hashtag.
Team Finn says he can't. He's under 21. You can't have a chocolate porter. Now, Limac says, I tasted chocolate porter years ago. I remember liking it. Oh, Team Finn will do hot chocolate instead.
There you go.
Perfect.
I
Well,
think
may as
I'm
well
caught
do
up
a
on
cookie.
All right. Well, hey, Team Finn, I hope that your event tomorrow goes really well at 6 p.m. GC7964F. That'll be great. I don't think I'll be able to join, but I hope the event goes really well. Hope you guys have an awesome time.
You just have to be more committed.
I should be committed, but that's not related to whether or not I'm going to make it to an event.
Oh, okay.
Well, actually, I guess it could be.
Brian Lang says, sounds like it's time for GCD. No, that's on the 13th. You can do the hike to GCD then.
Yeah, cheeky monkey. All right.
So much.
All right. Yeah. Yes. And Tracy from Road Caching is encouraging Team Finn to come to Canada where you only need to be 19 to enjoy a chocolate porter.
And he's still under 19.
Well, never mind then.
18 in Alberta.
And
is it true the farther east you go, the lower the age drops?
That's funny. I'm just quickly pulling up the event to see whereabouts it is, just out of curiosity.
I believe it's by the time you get across Canada's drinking age is 12 on Prince Edward Island.
The way it keeps going.
No, that's
Corner
not true.
Bakery, Tukwila. Okay, so the event is at the Corner Bakery in Tukwila, 6 to 8 p.m.
Oh, the Corner
Tukwila,
Bakery.
Washington.
That's a great place for a chocolate chip cookie.
Seems like it. Tukwila. Okay, cool.
Tukwila is an interesting little town. Maybe it's not
where that
little
is
anymore.
What's the geographically? What's the context of Tukwila? What are the other cities nearby?
The Auburn and others. I don't know.
Okay.
I should know. I used to work in
should.
Tukwila, but I can't. Suddenly can't do it. I didn't prep for this.
Oh, I see. Oh, it's actually not far from SeaTac, Renton.
Right. There you go.
Okay. I just had to expand my map a little bit here.
Yeah. So east of the airport and long and skinny, Boeing Field is in Tukwila.
Very cool.
Thank you, guys. North of Kent, east of SeaTac. Yeah.
Just off the I-5 there.
South
just
of
off
Seattle.
And the Washington 181. Basically the junction of the I-5 and Washington 181. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. I-5 runs right through the center of Tukwila. 405 comes in there as well. South
Very
Center
cool.
Mall. Yeah. I worked around there, around the mall area.
Nice. All right.
Thank you, Starcasher. Let sleeping dogs lie. And to the dogs of Toledo, Ohio, ladies, we bid you good night. If you grew up or lived in Toledo, Ohio, you know that John Denver song very well.
Wow. All right. Well, you know what? I think we're just about at a wrap for tonight.
I think so.
I wanted to make sure we throw in and just encourage people to cache safely and cache often while you're out there. Have some fun and send us some audio. Send us some feedback about your geocaching adventures. We really want to hear about it, and we want you to get entries into the ape-themed contest.
Exactly. Cache safely and eclipse often. Eclipse safely and cache often. How's that?
I like that. That's perfect.
That actually works better. Okay, folks. Good night.